right as I left for Owensboro, the NIFB movement imploded. I said with Jeff sitting right there, I said, these people bite and devour and consume each other, and they will do so eventually. Every one of these men, because they do these hangouts, and they, Adam Fannin and Romero and Pastor Robinson and all these different pastors get together, and they go back and forth, ripping and snorting on people and condemning people to hell. And of course, they were attacking Jeff and I and accusing us of all sorts of sins and everything else. And but I know that they know that they have to perform in a particular fashion to maintain their place at the table. And if they step out of line in the slightest bit, these people they're calling brother will take that sword that they're swinging at everybody outside the NIFB movement and turn it on them in a second and run them through with a smile on their face. They don't even have to finish pronouncing the last term they used, brother of them, to turn it into heretic before they slice them up. That's how these people are, and they each know it. It's a horrible life. It's a horrible life to be stuck in something like that. And so I said that this movement would turn upon itself. I didn't think it would do so within 10 days of having said so. But I think that these guys should, if they have any common sense, sit back and go, for weeks, we were bearing false witness against these men who have been ministers of the gospel for many more years than we have. And all of a sudden, in the midst of that, we are now on the pages of the New York Post and numerous other national media outlets, because the Steadfast Baptist Church, remember, who was going to be producing this video attacking Jeff and myself, called Calvinism, Doctrine of Demons, Steadfast Baptist Church, Jacksonville. Well, it turns out that Steadfast Baptist Church is a multi-campus church. I wonder where they get that from the Bible. Funny how King James onlyists who want everything in the Bible, could you show me multi-campus in the Bible? I'd like to know where that is. That's very interesting. I don't remember that anywhere. Anyway, but turns out that this Pastor Romero, Donnie Romero, who was right in the middle of those videos, ripping and snorting and condemning Jeff and I to hell and making fun of our names and accusing us of sexual sin and everything else. Turns out that when he would go to Jacksonville, he'd sneak off to the casino and find himself some hookers and alcohol and everything else. And he's now admitted that. And so, lo and behold, right as I get to Owensboro, I see this video, and Steven Anderson has flown to Texas to the main Steadfast church there, and he oversees. The guy gives a partial confession, very partial, it was not anywhere near complete. And then, you can sort of tell who's in charge of this particular movement to have Anderson come in to do this. And Jacksonville, where Adam Fannin is just a satellite of the Steadfast Church in Texas. I guess there are some other campuses too, somewhere. And so now there's a split. And 2 weeks earlier, you had Anderson, Fannin, Romero, ripping and snorting, doing their NIFB thing. Calvinists are heretics. They're all going to hell. James White, Jeff Bourbon, all this stuff. And now they're turning on each other. Oh my. Now Adam Fannin, brother Adam Fannin, who was one of the big cheerleaders, now he's dividing the church and he's splitting the church. And of course, Pastor Romero, who was right in there, none of them seemed to know what was going on. Didn't seem to know he was sneaking off while he was in Jacksonville to go visit prostitutes. And in the midst of all this, one of the videos that we responded to, that Jeff and I responded to, and corrected rather fully, I didn't put two and two together until I saw this, but there's a guy named Ben the Baptist. And Ben the Baptist was one of them that produced one of the videos attacking Jeff based on Ephesians 2:8-9, not dealing with verse 10. And so Jeff and I obviously demonstrated the consistency of the argumentation throughout. And so someone directed me to a video, and let's see, that's, I'll just hopefully remember I need to go to 246, but I'll just play a portion of it and then I'll stop it because it again, this is before the split. Okay. This was just a little while ago. Half a month ago. And because this is his alleged response to Jeff and I and to my Romans 8 discussion with Pastor Robinson. Here's how it starts.
Hello everyone, it's Ben the Baptist here. I wanted to give you guys my thoughts on Pastor Jason Robinson's recent appearance on James White's show. That's right, he actually went onto his radio show and he wiped the floor with him. He totally exposed the folly of the doctrine of devils known as Calvinism, and he made him look like a pseudo-intellectual fool. I loved it, and you know what, folks, you need to check out.
So we're not going to get a much of a fair review here, obviously, from Ben the Baptist by any stretch of the imagination. But what is fascinating is after ripping the story, then he goes through a section again, accusing Jeff and I of sexual sins and things like that. And one of the things I would simply say to Ben, because I know he'll watch this, he'll be informed about this, before I respond to, again, your misrepresentations and misunderstanding of Ephesians 2. But Ben, I just want to say something to you. You have seen what's happened there. I saw your video today talking about the split and what's happened, and that you were friends with Adam Fannin and all the rest of this stuff. Ben, you step out of line one little bit, and Anderson, all these people will be on you just as they're on Adam Fannin. You are a part of a cult, and the cult leaders brook no opposition. But I just want to ask you something, sir. I want to ask you to think, what could cause you to join in the slander and false accusations against ministers you do not know, ministers who have been ministering longer? I've been ministering longer than I think you've been alive, who have long track records. I've been married for 36 years, publications, lengthy tenures at churches, et cetera, et cetera. What do you think allows you to slanderously bring accusations against us, while at the same time, there in your own group, the primary pastor of your church, even though remotely, while in your city, the city where you live, allegedly ministering at your church, is hanging out with hookers, and you didn't see any of it? Didn't see it coming, did you, Ben? Doesn't mean you have much in the way of discernment, does it, Ben? When are we going to hear repentance from you, Ben the Baptist? When are we going to hear it? Because, see, unlike your friends, we would welcome repentance. We wouldn't fry you like your friends would if you dared to say something against their perspectives. Someday you're going to need to recognize that there is nothing in this movement, It's not historic Christianity by any stretch of the imagination. It is a personality cult. And it will destroy you if you don't get out of it, Ben, and anybody else. Take warning. These men will slander anyone, but they can't see sin right next to them. And Romero was one of the main people making the accusations. I wonder if he made any of these videos the same time as he was going out to see hookers. That's the question. So keep that in mind, Ben. It might be wise.